Okay. That was weird. The voice thing wasn't picking me up. Anyway, tracking was having trouble as well. Hopefully we got a second here. It's last morning stream for about a week. Next weekend, I'll hopefully be able to make these. We'll find out. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to. We'll see how things go. May have to. Maybe I should just preempt this. Actually, it's not looking too hot. Fucked up our finger. The other side's a little less bad, but wasn't ideal. I have this image of Ishtola. This is, I think, where we get our color from. I think this is like a very stock imagey thing. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put a thing on. It's very stock imagey. Sorry, I should have done this before. I just thought we'd be good. Anyway, that's where we're gonna get our colors from. We're gonna wing it mostly, I guess. And we'll see how things go from there. But any wobbly lines and mistakes get blamed immediately on the finger. Okay? Is that fair? Sorry, I had to make sure my band was pointed at me. Okay. Shall we? By the way, tomorrow, June 1st, right? Tomorrow marks exactly a month since we started streaming Learning How to Draw. I know we did some sketches before that, but damn. It is what it is. It's interesting that I kind of came full circle. I started out, I could only do like one really bad sketch a stream. Then I like upped to two. Then we come on, dude. We started out with one, we went to two, then we started doing a line art, then we started learning how to like shade a little bit and like color things in. Right? And so we started like I think with like the skulls is where we really started kind of going from like a sketch to a line art with some shading. And then I started like basically getting like a line art, like a sketch, a line art, and maybe some shading, and then like a finished product, and then you know what I mean, the next day. And now we're kind of back to I can only do a sketch and a line art in a day, like in one stream, because I've like started taking on bigger things mostly, and it's like I'm also trying to like correct things. So it's like, okay, it's one sketch, but I've sort of revised it several times to try and get it closer. And then like, okay, it's just the line art, but again, I've sort of revised it several times to get it closer. Is this perfect? No, right? But this is probably as good as I'm going to be able to get. So I think it's not too bad. Anyway, we're going to make... I put this Band-Aid on very poorly. It's really bothering me. What's wrong with me? Anyway, we're going to make a layer. We are going to call it Palette Town. And we're going to promptly not use it because that's... I've noticed I do that. I'll like get all ready. And I'm like, okay, so here's my list. And then I just don't fucking use any of it. I end up going back to the original because I'm like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This is really... wait, whoa. There's a peach in there? Come on, please let me zoom in. Okay. You know, it occurs to me we're not going to be able to see that because that's just straight white. Alright, maybe we don't do a palette down. Hair? Oh boy. Alright. I'm thinking we skip it because I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay. Let's do a base layer, and we can always add one later. So let's, I don't know how I just added two, but we'll undo one. So we're gonna do the hand and the staff later. Wait, hold on. Is this a different staff? No, it's the same staff. Um, and that's because I feel like it makes more sense to just like draw that on top. Same with like the feathers and some of those details. I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be easier in the long run for me to do something like that than it's going to be to like take 40 minutes to draw all this shit. Okay, this is blue. First off, I could have swore I would have called this silver if you asked me. Is gonna be that color because I think it's the same color. Dude, don't you fucking hate when you do this with like anything, with like tape, band-aids, and it folds in on itself and makes that little fucking flap? This thing is driving me absolutely batshit insane. I'm gonna fucking lose it. Okay, let's grab her titty here. Mm-hmm. Nice, 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 nice. All right, we're gonna pick this one. I think I need to wash my glove. It's not like crusty or anything, but I feel like it's not as nice as it could be. Did we end up on a light gray? Am I tripping? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's try and get as much of this as we can. And then we'll like shade things in later, as is tradition. We'll add shading and details later, but for now we're gonna try our best to get this all in. Okay, not looking good because this is very much just black right now. All right. You know, I should have just drawn her naked. That's what we all really want to see, right? My queen. Guess after this, I legally am obligated to draw Mara Sav, right? At least I have experience with her hair now because of this fucking shoulder puff. This is probably going to take me a couple of weeks to do. Just because I'm going to try and be more detailed and more careful. And I suck. Plus, we also will only be working weekends, most likely. I don't know. I could potentially work on this off stream, but I don't really want to. I feel like it's more fun to just do, like, there's off stream stuff and there's on stream stuff. I don't know. It's just more fun that way. I feel like it's cooler to be able to like go back and look at the progress outside of the time lapse because the time lapses kind of suck if we're being honest. If you have suggestions for maybe music to put to time lapses, let me know. The problem is some of them I can maybe speed them up some more, but some of them are like 15 fucking minutes now. Like this is probably going to be 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes somewhere around there if I had to guess. Cuz it's just so detailed. I make so many revisions. It's like such a big file. This one's actually probably going to be more. I think it's actually 4K. So we're potentially going to crash if we're being honest here, which I'm always honest. I'm not really sure why that's a phrase. I've been saying that for decades now. Y'all not being honest out there? Be honest. So after roughly 6 months, you know, one day less, um, we have made it to 10 subscribers on the art streams. Or not the art streams, but the art VODs, I guess. I feel like I want to bring them more content, which is really good, by the way. 10 subscribers in 6 months is. I know that doesn't sound like a lot because you'll usually only hear about subscriber talk from major content creators. Um, oh, you know what? I never did the back thing. Fuck. Okay, let's go back for a second. But you'll really only hear about that from like major content creators, and those dudes are working in the thousands, you know? But like, are they? You know? It's a different sport. Why did that happen? Let's go full screen. Apparently I forgot to do that. It's interesting. I kind of feel like it actually should be more like, I don't know, I maybe more like this somehow. Why does it look better like this? All right. I think this is pretty decent now. Let's keep going. We can always actually change something like this. This is small enough that we could pretty easily fix that. Where the fuck am I? We're at the fucking seatbelt. Can't believe some women are getting so wacky with it. They're wearing a fucking seatbelt on their goddamn clothes. Insane. But you know what? Stay safe. Buckle up. Click it or ticket. Anyway, I was saying 10 subs is actually like crazy work for basically a nobody who's. I know I have like a different channel with like 80 subs, which is also not particularly good, but somehow good. You know what I mean? Um, but it's like 10 recent subs is pretty crazy in 6 months for like a small person. Because if you like look at, obviously there's the thousands of people, but like otherwise, think about having like 10 people over who maybe they're over at different times, but they come over and they watch you draw or something or look at your art. Like having 10 people do that, it's kind of nuts. That's a lot. I feel that way about like streaming too, because it's like sometimes I'll have, it's just me. Sometimes it'll be like five, and it's like, well, imagine having five people there watching you play a game. Like that's pretty crazy because most games aren't even five players. So like that would mean that you have five people over and they're not even playing the game with you. 10 people over. Like imagine 10 people in your house watching you play fucking Fortnite or whatever is popular these days. Like a lot of people will shit on that, call it like small streamer stuff, but 10 people, 10 concurrent viewers is huge. That's a lot. 50 is massive. So having 10 people who like occasionally stop by, and say, "Hey, nice art," or "I wanted to look at this basically for a couple minutes or an hour or two." That's kind of cool. I will say, I think we have like a couple of videos with like negative ratios on the art one. I have way more than a couple on the main. It's this, all right. I'm pretty sure it's this phenomenon because there's no comments usually. So it's this phenomenon where people will just like watch a video and just dislike it and leave, or sometimes they'll watch it and dislike it and stay. Um, but like it, sometimes there's just nothing you could have done, right? You couldn't have ever made that person happy. They just dislike everything. That's how I view ones who don't say anything. Cause like you could dislike it for real. That's fine. Tell me what I could do better. For example, I think my tracking in my model could definitely be better. Could probably do with some like background music. Can't really do anything about my voice, but Jesus Christ, would that be nice, right? But anyway, the ones who, if you don't say anything, then you disliked it just to be able, I guess the phrase is a hater, right? That's really the way I gotta see it. Because otherwise, you can dislike it and then say, hey, bro, this part particularly was ass. You can do better, or do this, or do that differently, or, you know what I mean? Like, if you were being anything other than a hater, I fucking hate that word. I don't know. It kind of makes you stop and think using that word. Anyway, but if you were being anything other than that, you would probably have the decency to be like, hey, here's why I didn't like it, and here's what I think you could do better. Now, I'm not saying you're ever obligated to do that, and you could just dislike something and dislike it and move on. That's also fine, but I'm small enough that it's like I definitely get that with like 200,000 subscriber Timmy, but like 10 subscriber Tommy here. God, I couldn't have picked worse names, could I? 10 subscriber Tommy, dude. All I think of is, isn't that a Rugrat? Isn't Tommy a Rugrat, or is Timmy the Rugrat? I don't fucking know. I've only ever seen the Rugrat movie. I actually have never seen an episode of the Rugrats show. I said it. Um, anyway, 200,000 Timmy versus 10 Tommy, right? Like, I'll obviously see and read your comment. So, like, you could be nice and help me out instead of just disliking it. But the art ones don't really get those as much. Um, I don't know. Part of it is also I think people use dislike in the hopes that YouTube will be like, "Oh, dislike. Okay, no more recommendations for this type of content or for this creature or whatever you want to call it." Um, you know what I mean? Like that's what I thought or what I think most of it's about. Um, this fucking dress is massive. I'm gonna be so miserable because there's so much detail I'm gonna have to add. Um, But if you like it, which we do get quite a handful of I like your art comments, which fucking make my day. Because as much as I like to shit talk it, because it is not that great generally, um, it's nice that someone's being encouraging. I don't know. It's like, I, I don't believe you, but thank you, right? Because you went out of your way to tell me and be nice, and you didn't have to do that. I think maybe I should have picked the lighter color and darkened it. I picked like the middle ground. Because there's like some basically blacks on this. Am I on the right color? Okay. Definitely should have just done this last. Bro. Do, do. Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm pretty sure these lines were clean enough that I could have done fill tool from the jump, but I feel like so what happens with that is what's going to happen later. Fill tool in my experience seems to leave like a line, I guess. of unfilled area. And I think it just is easier to fill not at the line here, because what I end up having to do is trace over the line either with black or with color, and that either makes it so that the black bleeds and the line gets thicker, right? And that's not what I want yet. Or it makes it so the color bleeds out and like I have to be more careful. But if I do this, that white line that's going to occur, hold on, let me just show it real quick. So if I do this, right, let's pretend that, fuck, I should have drawn two lines. Okay, but let's pretend there's a thick black line around this. If I, if I had, if this line here was that line, I would then have to come in and very carefully try to not cross over that line. And oh, we made a mistake. Now I have to control Z it and we have to redo all of that part. But if we had a black line around that and this was the edge, then I can just kind of send it, you know? And I can be a little less careful. If you know a setting that I can do to like make it so that that doesn't even happen to begin with, please let me know. Please. I don't really know how to use the settings too well. So it would help me out a lot if you knew it and could tell me. I don't think there is one, but I'm open to hearing about it if there is. I think I might try and segment this a little. Because otherwise it might turn into a big black blob because like the lines are gonna merge. I think it's too dark. Can you snake me higher? Ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum. Neom. Neom. I know that technically I think the ribbon is the exact same color, so I don't actually have to do this. But like I just said, I'm going to try and segment some of this stuff. So like the ribbon, I think I'm going to trace it out right now. And we'll maybe come to it later. I think that's the only way I can keep my fucking sanity here. Because otherwise I feel like I'm going to get really lost. Because I'm already kind of lost. Which subsequently is actually, incidentally, rather, is my favorite TV show. I'm just kidding. I never actually finished that TV show. I really wanted to, but I never did. I really enjoyed it until I think I just didn't. That's also from the era of you couldn't watch stuff whenever you wanted. I think I was in like high school and like I just had too much like homework generally, and so like I can't really focus like that if I'm watching something. So I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like I wouldn't be able to watch. Maybe I should give it a watch. Maybe I should try and figure out what the fuck was going on. It's been spoiled for me, so generally speaking. What I should have done is the ribbon first. I didn't think about that. But here we are. I don't know why I thought I already did this, but looking at it, it kind of doesn't really look like I did. I guess I could maybe lower opacity. It's probably what I should have done. Hey, look, we're bleeding through. Guess it's a good thing we put a band-aid on, otherwise we'd be dealing with a fucking mess. Brother, this guy stinks. That shit hurt so bad, by the way. I was like, basically, I went to open a window, and I don't know how it happened, because you're probably thinking, oh, it slammed down. It moved side to side. So I open it, and it does this a lot. I've noticed it like, I guess, tilts up and gets off the track, and like the top part gets stuck, and the bottom part gets stuck. So it's barely noticeable. Like, you can't visually tell. You can just tell because you can't open it or move it, at all anymore. And so what happens is, it's like, instead of being, level, right? So let's just pretend, let's pretend, if you're looking here, right? So there's like your windowsill. Instead of being like parallel to it, it's like one corner is here, one corner is there, if that makes sense. All right, so like there's your sill. Oh, fuck, I feel like this isn't working. I don't know. I could probably have drawn this, but I don't want to make this file any bigger than it's probably going to be, because this is probably going to be like 100 gigabytes. Um, anyway, we're gonna we're gonna have we're gonna have a fucking problem thinking about it. Fuck, I forgot about the stupid recording. All right, hold on. Let's finish the explanation. So instead of like being parallel and just easily sliding back and forth, one corner gets like caught here and the other corner gets caught there. So it's like, it's just stuck. And usually what I have to do is kind of like grab it from both ends. And like, so like, I can't really get my fingers behind one side, which is probably for the best, because that's the side that you would expect to get hurt from. Um, so like, you kind of have to like grab it and like tilt it manually. I went to do that, and it, like, before I even touched it, it just like exploded. I don't know how to describe it other than it just like freed itself and exploded and slammed shut. Like, the window is fine. Everything's fine, but it like slammed shut on my finger. I didn't even touch it yet. It just, like, I guess, built up a bunch of kinetic force somehow, and just like got me right between like the little metal thing and whatnot. I don't know. Like I said, I've never had that part happen. It gets stuck all the time. I didn't think it would have that much force without me like manually adding force, you know? Like, it's something I was always worried about. Like, once I put my other hand on it, which is why I'll usually, I guess maybe that's the thing. I usually like try and do it with either one hand or the other hand so that there's like no force. But I like was going for the second hand, and it just freed itself. And it was over. I don't know what was going on. I didn't like it though. I can tell you that. I know. I think maybe it's a combination of it's worse than it looks and it's better than it looks, right? Or not as bad as it looks. So like it's probably I probably should have gone to like a doctor for it or something. But I don't know. It like looks worse than I think it is also cuz like I think it just so happened to like almost God, it's gonna sound gross as fuck, but I think it just happened to like peel some of my skin. So I don't think it's actually that bad. It's not like a super deep cut. It felt like it at the time, but I think it's just like a long, like slice as opposed to like a slice through. I think what happened was like my finger, let's use a different finger actually, like bent back and like right here, like got cut into the metal and then like got hit there and like it just kind of peeled it up, which sucks like a motherfucker. But like it's not like, it didn't go like boom and like through, it like bent my finger. So like it could have been so much worse. Okay, am I tripping or is it ready? Holy moly. Goddamn. Okay, we're good. This is actually a little more visible than I thought it was going to be. Maybe we don't have to segment it, right? Because we can see it right here. That's not that bad. But this is what I was talking about earlier. So, like, now I can just kind of come in and just, like, zoom across here. But, like, before, I'd have to be a little more careful, I think. I could probably even get away since we're probably going to have to add layers to it, but I'm not going to. But I probably could get away with just using a smear tool or something and just kind of like blendo dickoing it. Well, we're going to do it manually because I'm a fucking moron. Like here we would do manual, I think, no matter what. But like on some of the long edges where it's just like black on one side, white on another, other smear or dicko tool would probably be better. It's interesting. I feel like I guess I was just tracing really well because I feel like it seemed really close to the black, but having it all out right now, they don't even feel close. That's so interesting. I'm losing it. It doesn't really matter if I go over a lot here, by the way, because this is going to be colored in anyway. Like it's her skin. It matters more for the outside because I don't know that I'm going to do a background with this. Because I don't know what to make it. Like there'll maybe be background like purple stuff or something, but like it's not going to be a solid background. I wouldn't know what to do. So like here I can color in, there it's going to have to be white. I could in theory selecto Dicko her whole body and then paint bucket erase or white or something, or at least try that. But that is either risky or gonna be a pain in the ass, so if I can just avoid doing that to begin with, that would be preferred. Oh boy, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. 6 months ago, I felt like I could do this, if that makes sense. Like in my head, I could picture this, right? I could picture it mentally. I just can't translate that. You know what I mean? I think this is where like AI bros get a little confused because it's like, oh, if it's my image from my head, I think they're like, well, why can't I just prompt it out? Um, like I think that's their thought process. And I think that that's like where they're like deviating incorrectly. This is after only 6 months. Could AI maybe, like, if you just fed it this image and said make it look like a drawing, could AI do that faster? Almost certainly. But like, it wouldn't be able to do that without all of the art it's stolen. It wouldn't. I think that's the big thing too, but it wouldn't be able to do that without all the art it's stolen, and without like the soul, it just won't be the same. Like, is this going to look worse than what AI could probably do at this point? Yes, but like I said, it won't have that soul. And then the big thing is, it can only create those things because these guys stole people's images and trained their AI off of it. It would maybe be a little different. Not really much though, but a little different if it's like, well, we trained our AI off of our own artwork and artwork of people we paid with the express intent of doing this. And so they allowed us to train it with their art, according to the contract, right? They knew this was going to happen, right? That's something different, but they stole it. So it's not the same. And I know people will be like, well, aren't I stealing people's art? Right? I learned how to draw by looking at other people's art. That's kind of the only way you can do it, right? I learned by watching a couple of PCAT videos, right? I learned by looking at something and trying to recreate it. What's the difference? The difference is it's my hand, you know? There's a little bit of passion behind it. And I do know that some people really don't like even humans. They'll complain, "Oh, don't redraw my art or whatever." It's like, bro, you fucking learned how to draw Abasasu X Naru porn, right? You learned how to draw so you could draw that. You learned how to draw so you can draw Edward and Alphonse porn. I know what you are, right? You don't fucking pull up the ladder like that. You don't get to learn by stealing, famous anime and pretend that that's any different from someone who's learning from looking at your art, right? You don't get to say, oh, they stole my style like that. Fuck off. Like, you didn't invent drawing. And if someone likes your art and they're using it to learn, I just don't see the problem. Now, if they were like, if it's your drawing and then they redrew it and it's like identical, precisely, obviously, like me redrawing someone's art, if you will, is completely different from someone who's actually skilled, right? Because it's not even going to look the same. It's not. I look at this. Look at the fucking difference here between this and the fucking image over there. Not even in the same fucking realm. Obviously, that's a picture of a 3D model, but or of a 3D figurine, but you know what I mean? Like, it would be different if you could exactly replicate it with zero changes, and then you're like, hey, I invented this or something. Sure, I get being mad about that, but being mad about people who are like, I really like this, I'd like to learn how to draw like this, the best way to learn is to draw this guy's stuff and like learn, right? I think that's fine on a personal level. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but if for some reason any of my garbage makes someone happy and they want to draw like it, like especially this, for example, this is 100% at this point. That's that's a picture of a 3D figurine, right? This is effectively original. Have someone probably drawn the exact same figurine before? Almost certainly. Is Ishtola my character? No. But this is, effectively as all me as it's gotten so far. So if anyone ever like wants to learn off of what I'm doing, first off, you're making a huge mistake. My shit sucks. Second off, you are more than welcome to. Bum 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 bum. Okay. I think what it is for a lot of artists and like especially like Twitterverse content creator stuff, it's that they're in a big club and you're not a part of it. Right? Like it's the same with like content creators in general and VTubers, right? You know, people will tweet at like big agency corpo people and all that, and they'll try and engage with them, and I mostly shit post at them, but I do that with anyone, and like I generally don't really look at the size. Um, you know, if it comes across the feed, it comes across the feed somehow. So like I'll shit post just about anyone. You know, 100, 200, 1,000, 200,000 followers on Twitter or whatever, you're not safe. But like a lot of them, they don't bother responding. They don't like your replies or whatever. Or sometimes I'll get from really big ones, they'll like my reply and then unlike it so that like it doesn't come across anyone's feed. But like I think they're trying to let you know that you saw it, if that makes sense. Um, but I think for the most part, it's just like they're mostly doing it for content creation, right? They're not shit posting so that you can shit post back with them. They're shit posting so like maybe they have like a pre-made shit post with their friend ready to cook, and then they comment, right? And it's like it's another form of advertising. It's their it's their engagement bait, right? Their friend posts the best response and they respond to that and nothing else gets responded to, but everyone else also posts the responses. And sometimes, their friend is beaten to the response by like some random ass fucking dude, and they'll get like ratioed because the other person is verified and is a big time YouTuber. So it's like, or they'll steal like a comment or something, right? It's just like I said, it's just one big club and nobody else is really in it. You're kind of shouting into the wind if you at corpo people and like big time tuber dubers. And for them it's like they don't really want to include you. So like if you look at, let's say they're also an artist, if you look at their art and try and learn from it, they don't care. If you you know draw them fan art, they don't care. Generally the fan art they like is the ones that they commission. They don't want to see you like learn. They don't really care. They're just going about their business, and that's what it is. Business. I think a lot of people maybe even me to some extent, maybe I shouldn't even bother shit posting. But a lot of people like mistake business for business. Bum, bum, bum. But I think you should be able to learn however you want. And if you're an AI bro, it's really not that hard. Look at what 6 months got me. All homegrown. I learned it from looking at other people's work, sure, but it's through my hand. I didn't claim that work as my own. I claimed the work that I did based off of it as my own. And in general, I usually say, if like I take it from Twitter or the stuff I did from PCAT's video where we used the ArtStation head and the hold on, I still have them up. ArtStation head and what Sketchfab skull, right? I always say what I'm working on and where it's from. You know, It's not that hard. I really desperately want to make this like a different color. I don't know why. I feel like it'd look really cool. It feels like we haven't done anything today. Think I'm gonna outline the tail. Think I'm gonna take a second because that was the wobbliest line of the day. I'm so sad I don't get to stream tomorrow morning. Sad I gotta wake up at fucking 6 something and go to the office. And walk to fucking office. My fucking parking space is lost. So like I technically have a parking space and that's where I'm gonna be at. But like I have like an unofficial parking space where I'm supposed to be able to park closer, but like it's first come first serve. But like I'm like the only person on the list, but other people get there before me and take it anyway who aren't technically on the list. But like I have my own spot, so I usually don't fucking care. It's like the difference between a 10-minute walk and a like a 5-minute walk. So it's fine. I kind of like walking anyway. Just kind of sucks when it's really hot. I actually like walking in the rain though. Walking. Wait, I just realized my phone never told me I went live. Are we streaming? Swipe to unlock. Huh. Doesn't say. The hell am I reading, bro? Have we talked about this one? This is an LT Wright. Um, I don't know, some sort of hunter. It's a very common pattern. Different sizes usually. Hold on, actually, no. I'm not gonna get it. I've shown it. It's the Winta. It's the black blade with like the pink and blue. We've drawn that one. It's the same pattern basically. This one's smaller. This one came like really. I don't know. I feel like LT Wrights I'm torn on. They tend to have really sharp corners. I knew this had a 90-degree spine. That's supposed to be for like striking a ferro rod or whatever. It doesn't need to be 90 degrees. It just kind of helps. I personally don't really like that because I don't strike ferro rods. First off, I'm pretty sure you can just clap outside in California dryness and start a fire. So I don't need a ferro rod. I do have one. Um, I don't really use it. I actually I don't think I've ever used it. It might not work. Actually, I think I have two of them, but anyway, I usually just knock those edges down. Um, and these are usually like really sharp, so I knock these edges down, but like all of them are like that. So like it's usually sharp here, 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 like it's 90 degrees all around, and I have to like knock the edges all down, otherwise it's like digging into your skin when you hold it like that. But I also found this one was like super wobbly. I don't know, this doesn't feel like square to me. I don't know how to explain it, but like it's a weird shape. Usually they're like straight out and kind of then turn into belly, but this one's like in almost like it was used quite a bit before I got it. I don't know. Maybe it was. Probably. I don't know. I'm too lenient. Oh fuck! Did that thing? Okay, we're good. We're good. I usually keep things that I probably shouldn't. Like I have some knives that are like a little more not square than they should be. They should be perfect, but then like they're not. I mean, you tell yourself it's like it's handmade or whatever, so like of course it's not going to be perfect. So like you let it go and then it's like, well, looking at it, maybe I shouldn't have. Anyway, let's hopefully draw some straight lines now. This is the tail, right? Goddamn. Mm-mm-mm. Ishtola. I was gonna look up Marasov to see how crazy that's about to be, but you know what? Let's not even torture ourselves yet. Plus, I started replaying Destiny, so I'm still really mad you can't play through the whole story again. Like, I want to do Red War and all this stuff that led up to wherever the fuck I am now. I don't know why they had to do this to us. I think their like excuse, this was in like 2020 or something. Their excuse was, "Oh, the game's engine is fundamentally different now." No, it isn't. It's the same fucking game. Shut the fuck up. Give me the content I paid for back. Which, on that note, California has picked up that like Save Games Act thing. It's got to go through. I think it made it through its Congress, and now it has to go through the Senate and pass the governor. So what that'll mean is games will have to give a warning when a game is going to be reaching its end of life, kind of how Destiny did do, and it needs a final patch to ensure that it will remain relatively playable. And there are like exemptions such as free to play or something, but it's a pretty decent start. My understanding is basically so like a live service game such as Destiny, I think they're going to have to make a patch where it's entirely playable solo. That would be my guess. Maybe not the raids. I don't really know, but my guess is they're gonna have to do it so that you can complete like all of the story that's left in the game alone, like offline. Which thank fuck, you know. There are so many games that are just unplay. Oh fuck. That are just unplayable these days because there's no online and it required online to play, which it just shouldn't have. Is this part of LART? What's going on here? Okay. Um, like there, just no reason for it. Um, so thankfully you'll be able to like access the majority of the game for most games going forward, at least for like California's sake. Hopefully it actually passes. Actually, you know what I mean? For realsies. Um, I think that's pretty huge. Big L for Pirate Software. He's some dude who was like, so my coworker, my boss's son, actually, he works there, right? Would watch him like religiously. Like he would have his stream on. I tried to give him earbuds and headphones so many times, but he would just watch it like audio on, and it was this really annoying dude who would just very condescendingly talk about things and was always, I don't know, not particularly right. Um, but he would talk about like games and I guess that dude was very much against the like stopping or yeah, I guess stop, I don't know how to phrase it, stopping this bill or this like movement. He really for some reason just hated the notion of game companies requiring you to, or being required rather, to provide you with a game. So like if you paid for it, you get to keep it for life, right? It's not like a license type of deal, which I don't even think this does, but it's more like if you paid for it, then you should be able to access it or get a refund. And for some reason, that dude was against it. And a lot of things happened where he turned out to be like a fraud. I know he's one of those dudes who gave me a bad vibe. There's a lot of content creators out there that for some reason give me a bad vibe. I usually don't talk about them until after the vibe check is failed internationally. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like my vibe meter, my vibe checker is just fucking impeccable. And I can usually tell, but it's like, I don't want to say anything because, like, what if I am wrong? And then they're like actually a good person, you know? But this dude gave me bad vibes, and I just couldn't stand the fact. Like I said, I tried to give the dude tons of headphones so I didn't have to listen to him too because we share an office. Um, and like the dude just, I don't know, bad vibes all around. But he finally got caught out on like a bunch of like lies and like some hot takes, bad hot takes, including the digital thing. And I couldn't be both more and less happy about it because I didn't like I don't have to listen to it when I'm in an office with the dude anymore. The bad thing is the bros switched to fucking Asmongold, and that dude's already, you know, off his fucking rocker. So like, he traded like a scummy little scammer for like the Roach King of of him. So now I have to listen to that dude like just rage about things all the time. I don't know how the fuck people watch like. I mean, I guess right now this is kind of a commentary stream, but like at least you can see me pretending to learn how to draw. I'm not just complaining about people. It's only a little, only a little. I don't know. I feel like React content is really only good when it's funny. I don't know how people watch like the rage bait ones like that. Shit's miserable. I feel like I'd respect the guy more if he just fucking straight up had porn running on his computer rather than the streamers he seems to pick. I swear to God, when I'm in the office tomorrow, if he's got on like Aiden Ross or some shit, if he has Kanye West's new stream or whatever, I don't know, is he streaming? I feel like that's something he'd do. I'm gonna lose it. Gonna lose it. How we doing? Okay, we're not even close. All right. We should have stuck with talking about AI, dude. That was way more enjoyable than this. Do, 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 do. I wish AI was real. It'd be so much better if you could, like, just. I don't know. To me, AI should have been, make a device or like an app. You open it on your phone. I know they have stuff that sort of helps with this, but like instantly translates, right? Like, I don't want to put translators out of business. So, like, official translation stuff, of course, should still go through a human. But, something like you meet some random person on the street and they're in need or you're in need and you don't speak the same language, you should be able to just bring up a phone app or like a device and you're just like, here you go, instant translation through AI. That's what it should have been for, something to connect humans to each other while not like pushing any humans out of their passion, not art. Like, who the fuck, you know what I mean? AI should have been for scanning a fucking book and once again, not to like fuck with translators or something, but like let's say it's only made in English and they'll only ever make it in English and you want to read it in German or it's only made in Japanese and you want to read it in English, and there's never going to be another version. So like being able to scan that book and translate it, that's what AI should be for. Or being able to scan a document and then like make it searchable. That's what AI is for, right? That that shit. Not like fucking slop. The slop was fun when it was memes, you know, or when it was like the COD lobbies of Joe Biden and Trump, right? Because that's like lighthearted and nobody cares and nobody believes that's real, and it's not trying to really fool anyone. It's trying to get a rise out of someone because it's comical, but it's not taking anyone's job really, right? That's where the thing really ended, and now it's like, what are we doing? You went the wrong direction. It was supposed to be a tool to assist humans, not replace them. Which reminds me, I saw something about like some random company spent $500 million on AI accidentally, apparently, because I guess AI is shit, as is tradition. And so it requires a human to use it as it is, right? So in order to do that, they have to do multiple iterations of like, I guess, their prompts and their generations. So they effectively can't use it without people, and those people were given, I guess, an unfettered access to it. So they spent like $500 million on iterations and like trying to revise their prompts or whatever, because it's not good enough to actually just fucking do what you want. So these people spent a ton of money to replace humans while not being able to replace humans because the humans were required to use the AI, and the AI wasn't good enough to replace humans, so they spent a ton of money to replace the humans, but the humans were still required. It's like this indefinite loop of no progress. Like they're so fucking stupid. When will they learn that the energy and the actual cost is cheaper to run a human than a fucking powerful computer? Oh fuck. Wait, hold on, how did that fail? Where did that fail? It There's no way it's failing here, right? Cuz that's already colored in. It's here. How did I miss that? Wait, what? Oh, and here. Just to be sure, let's hit this again. There we go. Is it weird that I kind of like this? Like I kind of just want to put like her hair color in and like the sleeves, and then like not color in the rest. I don't know. I feel like that's a kind of a vibe. Do, do, do. Who needs AI slop when you have me, human slop? Okay. No. It wouldn't have mattered, by the way. The tail is just gonna be like a whitish, so I was just gonna color over it. Um, I'm doing like the white parts last, by the way, because it's kind of really difficult to tell if you've done anything if you don't have color around it. Even if it's not precisely white, I don't know. I find it really hard to tell. What a blam, what a blam, dum 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 da da miss. I'm gonna be so sad that I can't work on this effectively until next weekend. I don't know if I'm lucky. I don't think I'm gonna be able to, but if I'm lucky, maybe Friday. If I'm lucky, I really don't think I'm gonna be able to though. But if I'm lucky, I'm not lucky. As evidenced by my fucking bloodied finger. I'm really bleeding through this thing. Uh definitely not lucky. Gotta go easy on the finger banging, you know? I'm about to sneeze and I don't like it. I think what I'm gonna do, by the way, so I might just tweet out today, like the comparison, because I'm not really gonna have time tomorrow since I'm gonna be in office and I won't have access to most of these files. Um, I do have some of them, I think, on my laptop. I guess I could pull them from my Twitter. Um, but well, you know what? On that note, by the way, make sure when you upload pictures through Twitter, you go and you change the settings. I feel like I have to do it every time, by the way. Change the settings so that Grok cannot edit your photos. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Mine's set like that on profile, but sometimes they still show up. So just make sure you turn that off. Anyway, fuck AI. I think I've made that clear. Anyway, I think I'll just like tweet today the 6 month like progress difference between how far I've gotten, and I'll probably use my first stream one, and I might put like this as a whip. You know what I mean? Like current whip, brand new whip just hopped in. I know nobody really looks at those. I'm pretty sure I am like, I don't know how to put it. Shadow banned is how it used to be called. I've seen other people call it like hard muted or something. I don't fucking know. It's weird. People call things different things. Turns out, but I don't think I have very far reach. Like I'm pretty sure if I use hashtags, like on the gargoyle one for Jax, on the Sorrowway one, on the Freem one, I don't think my things ever make it to the hashtags. Even when I put those in, what I say never makes it. Cause like if I go and I look, I'll even on my main where I follow my art thing, I will see my thing as uh in hold on, actually I could can I pull something up? So let's go here. Let's go to the Jax one. So if I go to top, okay, well, I wasn't expecting those. So if I go to top, I'm on my main right now, but I'm looking at the top for this hashtag. My art account is the third one. It has 5 likes, so some people saw it, but there's a bunch of stuff that came after. And I've seen that get retweeted by the person who's the thing on it. They might just not like my art. That's fine. But if I go to latest, my piece isn't there, which I think is how they generally sort them. So I'm pretty sure it's like, I think it's based off of whether or not you've been a blue check mark and, you know, maybe engagement. I don't think my main account also really gives people notifications. Probably because I shit post. And it's probably because the other one doesn't get anything, probably because I also shit post on the main, and it's probably just associated with this account. So I have like effectively zero reach. The only time I get like responses is if I directly tweet at someone else's response, and that would feel really weird unless they just so happen to like say something topical to a picture. I do use hot dog dog quite a lot as a response to people though. Anytime hot dogs are brought up, that's it. You're done. You're getting dogged. I just don't see. I mean, I don't see how someone can say this is hard. It is hard, but you know what I mean? Like 6 months, you could learn this. I guarantee pretty much anyone who says I can't draw can draw better than me in 6 months than I have been able to draw in 6 months. You know what I mean? Especially if they like actually follow guides and like directions and do box strat and shit, which I just can't fucking stand. Drives me absolutely fucking insane. So like if you actually like learned yourself something and didn't just fucking wing it every step of the way, I feel like you could definitely just do this better than AI ever could. And you could actually be proud of yourself. I kind of want to say I'd be fine with AI art um for people who maybe lose their hands or limbs or whatever. The thing is, there are people who have learned to draw definitely better than me with just their mouth, right? Or just their feet. So like it's kind of not an excuse, but I think my big thing still, I would be more okay with that, right, as an assistive tool for someone with a disability, if you will. I'd be more okay with that, but like once again, the art is stolen, so it's like if you had paid the artists for stealing their art, for using their art, so you didn't steal it, I think I wouldn't. I would be totally fine with that. But like you fucking stole it. You stole it, bro. That really is what it comes down to. It's stolen, therefore I can't forgive it. Like if the people who it was trained off of volunteered it or were paid for it, right? That's another thing. But you just yoinked it, bro. I really think that society should come together and demand that these things just are completely wiped. And then if they want to do AI, that's fine as long as it's taught effectively, I guess, respectfully, right? Not stolen art, not stolen literature. But they should have to start from scratch because it's already fucking all stolen. It's yoinked. Fucking jorked. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna manage a lot of these like creases in the dress, but I kind of feel like it's kind of nice. There's gonna be a lot of winging. Let's put it that way. And I don't mean shooting from the hip. I mean I'm gonna be whining a lot. We're getting British up in here. Speaking of stealing, the British. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'd steal too if I were British. Little Ireland for me, a little Ireland for you. You know, never hurt anyone. Erlin, the land of ire. Not to be confused with the land of ire. Fuck you. Feel like I need to blow my nose, but like I kind of don't want to get up, you know, because I don't have ye old tissue around. First world problems. Ow. Ow. I just like hit my heel against my little stool here. And then I like pulled my heel up to look at it, and then I fucking did it again. Am I stupid? I'm gonna need a fucking like padded room soon. I'm losing it. Okay, you know, I can probably last like 20-ish minutes. I was like, we're really starting to bleed through this band-aid, so maybe we get off in like a couple minutes or something. But 20 minutes, we'll be good. We're good. We'll probably be on for like another 20, 30 minutes. So, is it really art if somebody's not bleeding, shitting, or crying? Think about it. Do, 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 do. Good old sister fister here. Holy moly. My queen. Do, 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 do. You know, wait, where? Huh? There we go. In theory, I think I can get up to about here, seal off the arm thing, and I think I can just fill. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have to draw this line here. Well, I say draw. I don't know. Color in, shade, shady. So I think in theory, I should just to be sure, get that like that. Okay, I should just be able to do that. Hey, holy fuck. We just saved ourselves 15% or more. on car insurance. Whose car? I don't know. Never met the guy. Car. Carl. You know what? I gotta check. How old is the name Carl? Is it like, you know, ancient Greek or something? Carl Tavius? Alright, let's look. Carl name origin. Okay, let's find out. Okay. Wow. Alright. Yeah, that doesn't help me at all. Um, sure. I don't really want to use AI. Behind the name. Here we go. Holy moly. German and Scandinavian variant of Carl. Wow, I didn't know Carl was derived from Carl. Thank you. See Charles. Fuck no. I hate Charles. Fucking Chuck. Noteworthy boners of the the bearers of the name include Swedish biologist Carl Linnaeus. I can't express to you how much that is not a noteworthy person. I don't know who the fuck this is. No Swede has ever been noteworthy. 1707 to 1778. All right, Carl's pretty old. Carl Gauss, 77, 1855. All right. Carl Jung. Oh my God. It's not even the one you're thinking of. It was imported to America. I don't think I've ever heard the phrase imported used with names. All right, so we're looking at least 1700s. Wait, this website name or rates names. So Carl, gender, masculine, rating 70%. Okay. Hold on. Uh what do I usually use as an example? Tiffany. What are we looking at for Tiffany? Ooh, 69% for Tiffany. Nice. Okay. Um, medieval form of Theophania. The name was traditionally given to girls born on the Epiphany, January 6th, the festival commemorating the visit of the Magi to the infant Jesus. That's a holiday? Epiphany? Okay. They really just rhymed Tiffany with Epiphany and were like, yep, name days, France, Jan 6th. Okay, it's French. That explains a lot, actually. Name died out after the Middle Ages but was revived in the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. Which is funny because it's all right, so that's named after the jewelry store Tiffany and Co. But Tiffany is the dude's last name. So people have been naming their daughters after the last name of a jeweler. It's fucking hilarious. Do I own? No, I don't think I own a Tiffany and Co. anything. I always thought it would be cool to have like a Tiffany and Co. dial. Probably Cartier. I don't know. Rolexes are fine too. The thing is, they're effectively impossible to find at a reasonable price, no matter what. I think I'd rather have a Paris style Cartier, which actually isn't that bad, given that you can just go to Paris and do that. Get a Tiffany dial Patek. That would probably be pretty cool. Like a vintage one. Probably wouldn't even be that bad. I mean, be that bad. It'd probably be like 15 grand, which isn't that bad in Patek Philippe with Tiffany dial. If you were to get a modern Tiffany, first off, I don't even think Tiffany and Co. would offer you a Patek to buy unless you have bought probably several $1 million in jewelry from them. So like a modern one is probably going to cost you like 300 grand. To put that in perspective. And to be fair, I don't even know if they sell the type of models I would like. I'm thinking more like Aquanaut. What is that other thing called? Aquanaut and Nautilus. That's it. But I'm more of a Calatrava type of slime. You know what I mean? Which is just an older dress watch style. I really don't like that this one strand of hair right here, or tuft of fur, or whatever this is, um, kind of connects here and it like makes this shape. I don't know. It kind of weirds me out. Also, what is this? Whose fur is this? I feel like it's kind of weird for an animal creature to wear fur, right? Do you think it's her pubes? Well, wait. All right. So you have the Khajiit or whatever the fuck those things are called. Um, what are they called? What the fuck are they called? Uh, Hrothgar. So they're like furry all over, right? And then they got dog faces. She's like a rat girl. I know most people call them cats, but those aren't cat girl ears, if you ask me. They look like little mice ears. Anyway, but they have like mostly human features. Do you think she's got fur? You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's got a furry tail. Where does the fur stop? Is it just like fur skin? Or is it like a gradient? I'm just asking the real questions here. Where does the tail attach? I wonder. Okay. This is literally just fucking white, isn't it? Oh, this is gonna be so difficult. How do I even do this? I might have to find like a different picture to pull this off. I genuinely feel like you can barely fucking tell. I need to zoom in some more, dude. This is not easy. Okay. I think we found the right thing. Maybe. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to try and color everything this. Then we're going to come in with a white and maybe like a darker version of this. And like try and add highlights. This is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot. But that's the play, I think. Otherwise, it's going to be like effectively impossible. I think what I'd have to do is trace around it in black and then fill it with black and then trace around where I don't want the black to connect to other black in white and then fill in white. That's the only way I think someone of my low ass skill level could pull this off. without it being way too incoherent. Because otherwise, I'm just going to get so ridiculously lost in this. This is like an overwhelming amount of like overlapping lines to try and figure out which one I've already colored white. The only other option would be to add another background layer and then hold on, wait, I might be onto something. Okay. Take the line art, invert it, add a background layer that's strictly white, and then make the background like a light gray so that you can tell the difference between white and light gray. That could be something. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would effectively be making her silhouette. So we'd select a deco tool, make her silhouette, put a layer underneath of white, right? And then from that same like silhouette, de-invert and everything around it very light gray. So that, I mean, I could sort of test this. I don't want to lose where I'm at, so I'm going to finish what I'm doing for now, and then we'll test. Because that actually doesn't sound like the worst idea I've ever had. I think it's somehow over yet under complicating things. Okay, so let's just see how this works real quick. It doesn't. Kind of curious where I messed up. Feel like I did pretty good overall here. Okay. Okay. So that sort of works. We're going to leave the other shoulder for a second. We're going to test that little strategy. The thing is, I'm not sure if I did the line art clean enough. I did not. Well, okay. Hold on then. We'll do like a pseudo test about then. Because this would also help with the hair. So if I were to say, make a new layer, put it below here, call this test so I don't forget. So let's just take this and let's just make sure it's working. Okay, it's working. So let's just make this white, right? And then take that. That didn't work because we have to invert, so now we do that. Right? And then we'll just slowly fucking erase a bunch of stuff to, oh, sorry. So select, re-invert. So you shouldn't be able to tell. No. Well, that's alright. It's going to be a little sloppy, but that's fine. Okay, so that didn't quite work the way I thought it would. That's alright. Let's try something else real quick. So now if I do VG test and then select deselect, huh? What if I do that? What am I missing? Okay. Well, it was a good theory, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so forget it. I actually think, like, in my head, I think this will work, but I don't know how to execute it properly. My idea would basically require me to make these lines a lot better, and my skill level um would basically require me to not be able to do that. So it's not. Oh, I was on a race. I was on a race. That's why it wasn't working. Okay. Well, we're not going back. I'm sorry. If you were wondering, I was accidentally on a race still. I always forget that for some reason the paint bucket tool shares a tool selection with the paintbrush. I don't know why. For me, that doesn't really make any sense, but it's fine. Like in my head, they're two separate tools overall. So like the sub tool selection should be different. I always forget that. Feel like it's a little too pink. I might change the color here. Or am I tripping? Is it good? Am I good, Chief? Yeah, whatever happened to Chief? Everybody used to ask, is it good, Chief? But nobody cares about Chief's opinion anymore. Poor Chief, bro. He went from in to like sin. That's right, he is now Sir Jacked. Ow. You know, with the way these little tufts came out, I'm really starting to think my calling might be drawing fuzzies. Might have a new source of income coming soon. We're gonna be drawing fuzzies for days. Bro, what the fuck did I draw? You ever just look at what you did and you're like, I didn't do that. Did I do that? Okay, moment of truth. Fuck. Moment of truth. Let's go. Hit that like button if you don't know what the fuck I'm doing, because I don't either. I'm running low on water. It's hot in here, bro. Okay. I'm so mad that I'm going to be sitting on this for like a fucking week, dude. I want to draw this so bad. This is the end goal. I think I'm going to try and draw her again in the future, but like different and hopefully better. I think she's going to be my checkpoint. You know, X amount of time passed. Okay, let's see how we do on an Ishtola. Damn. Her and Marasov, my queens. I feel like she's simultaneously like the best. You know what I mean? She's my favorite character from Final Fantasy 14. She's also the worst character because I think like based on what we've seen her do in the game, this is sort of spoilers, I guess, if you ever plan on doing it. I'm not going to go into too much depth. Basically, she is by far the most powerful character in the entire fucking series, as far as I can tell. Like, she do things that make zero sense in the context of everything else that can be done. Like, she's just so much more powerful. It's insane. So like they just kind of come up with like a little nerf of she can't do it very often or basically just once or something. Like realistically, the things she do, she she she, she doesn't need us. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Like one scene she'll be just ungodly powerful, and then the next she just like doesn't really do anything, and you're like, bro, she could just fucking wipe the whole squad over here. Like, why is she just standing there menacingly instead? I think she's like on it, if we're being honest, kind of a poorly written character because of that. Because like she's just so insanely powerful, so they just don't have her do anything ever. Like I guess they just kind of made it so she's really only interested in research instead of having her do things. Like that was their like gotcha to why I guess she just doesn't solve all the world's problems. Because like realistically, I'm pretty sure she's just some sort of demigod. But she's fucking cool. She's my favorite rat person. Kind of sucks that this is like the state it's about to be in for a week. I don't know. It's like working on your car and not getting it to be able to start and having to go do something else. Like I need it. I need it to be done. I need to ride her, you know? I have no idea when I'm going to be filming Icarus, by the way, because I still have that Icarus playthrough going on. Um, I don't know when I'm going to have fucking time for it. Might try and pre-record some later today or something. I did want to play Destiny, though. Okay. It's back out. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. I kind of wanted to do her hair, but I think her hair really just has to be white. So I don't know what to do. I don't know how to, I guess maybe make the background just light gray. Does that do anything for us? I don't really know. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off for today. So let me ping this. Well, I don't know why that was so loud. Anyway, let's take a second. Not too bad. This might be the first picture where I think it's actually like equally mid left or right. Um, okay. So, first, I want to thank anyone who's been along with me for the past 6 months of learning how to draw. This is where we're at. I'll probably tweet out like a comparison of the latest finished product, and maybe include this as a whip. Um, Once again, a little reminder: probably no midweek streams for a while. Um, if I'm lucky, maybe Friday, and if I'm lucky, I might have like a couple of months in between where I can fit some in. I don't know though. I don't really know. So for now, it's just gonna be weekend mornings. It sucks, but it is what it is. Um, I will try and work on like random ass things off stream. It'll be like 1 a.m. sketches. I don't know. I don't know how those are gonna go. I don't know where I'll share those. I don't know if I'll do the time lapse of them, but we'll see what we can do. I might not even be able to work on them. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thanks for anyone who's encouraged us along the way, who's watched, who's hung out, who's helped. I appreciate it. It brought me to my Queen Ishtola. Uh, I feel like it's almost like tomorrow is exactly 6 months. Like it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. I'm getting off for the day. I will hopefully see you in art streams next weekend. Um, or if you want to stop by the game streams, those won't stop, I don't think. But thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, whatever it is for you. I appreciate you. Hopefully, I can catch you in the next one, whenever that is. And I present to you currently unfinished Ishtola for a week.